G'day there guys, just time for a bit of a quick update on what's happening in the roof of my shed. A little bit's been shifted out to the annex or carport, whatever you like to call it. It's for later on being closed and double the size of the shed. The only real changes here are a couple of sticks of wood down the back and my locomotive rolling frame. Trailer was up at the house, that's come down here. And some of the shelving that was inside, which is similar to what I'll show you shortly, has been moved up to the garage at the house, and a lot of the household effects taken up there. And I was surprised at how much of the shelving was used for the household effects, probably 50%. But down to the pile of shelving, all the frames and beams have been taken in and erected. It's only the plywood the chipboard to throw on it tomorrow. And I've got a set of shelves and I can start to empty out the containers. Oh boy, that's going to be a joy. But I'll take you back inside and show you the two possible different layouts and why I choose the one I did. Back soon. Okay, well, this is what was in the shed when we bought it, and the good gracious previous owner left quite a lot of it here for me, although I missed out on equal proportion. Doesn't matter. It's fairly lightweight. It's all just banged out pressed metal out of Asia somewhere. It doesn't fit up really good, and I wouldn't be putting spare motors and things up there. I don't think it'll take a lot of weight. But it just uses wire mesh for shelving, and it was very easy for me to get it all up in the carport in an hour or so. And it's amazing how much of household effects are stored out here. I'd say a third of that belongs up at the house, and I'll be stomping a lot of it up there tomorrow or in the next few days. But I'll swing you around now and show you the two possible layouts that I had and why I choose the longitudinal one. Back soon. Okay, well, the two possible layouts that I had were either transversely or across that back wall, and the 6 metres of the benches would go to that upright just to the left of the tool and cutter grinder, the horizontal borer over where the old light stands are, and that would have taken up the back wall, come out I think it's 450 or 500 the sheets are wide, plenty of room in behind the horizontal borer, and that would have given me a completely free wall down this right hand side inside the shed. And I thought about that. That would give me 2 rows of machines across here, similar to what Graham's done, and I thought, geez, if I zigzag them I could almost get a 3rd row in there and a lot of toolboxes in behind. But then I had a bit of a think, if the shelves are right down the back and I'm moving materials in and out, or bringing materials in, or even loco parts, I've got to zigzag the bloody crane in amongst all these machines. And that is a real pain in the bum. I know that getting in the 6 metre lengths of copper tubing was a real problem. Luckily I had a very big warehouse then, at 630 square metres, but long things always present a real problem. So I'll back you out to the front of the shed and you'll see that this option suits my way of thinking at the moment, and I've got to stress that. This back corner on the right hand side, just to the left of the shelving, is going to have the air compressor and a few hooks off the back of the racking where I can hang the air hoses and extension leads, etc. And I'll just have very rudimentary plumbed air. Up the top I'll have a hand round air reel, and I can just pull it out over to the machines as I need it. Okay, back you up and we'll have a bit more of a look. Okay, I'm just tripoded outside the roller door now, and you can see a little bit of the method behind my madness. If it all turns to crap, well, I can just pull all the bloody machines out and put the shelving across the back end, but I don't think that will happen. But this gives me good access. I can actually fit 2 widths of forklifts in there now, although the machines will slow that up a little bit. Shed's taking shape, to me, quite nicely. But over here, any of the 6 metre lengths of copper, etc., they'll come in over the top of whatever I plant right here. And I'm thinking that'll be my welding bay, and grinding, gutting, burning, anything of that sort, so all the dust can go outside. And also I'm going to have my old bench with all the bench grinders and linisher on it that I can just wheel outside and blow the dust all over the world instead of all over my machines. But another day very profitably spent. herself is happy with the shelving in the garage, and I'm happy with the way it turned out here in the shed. With a bit of luck, I'll get more done tomorrow and bring you back for another exciting episode. Please like and subscribe. Bye for now. G'day there guys, a bit more on moving in. And this hit me like a brainwave, and I don't know why. I've never thought of it before, and why it's never been shown by those that do it regularly. I've always struggled with populating bloody shelving, getting the bloody sheets in there when I'm on my own, and quite often with somebody helping, it's still a bit of a beggar. And today I was thinking, after the first sheet went up well and the next two sheets just crashed, I nearly lost my bloody finger a couple of times, etc. Found out the frame wasn't set up square. I thought, if only I had another hand up the other end holding the sheet. Well, you don't need another hand, all you need is a stick or a piece of bloody dowel. And why this penny hasn't dropped over the years, I don't know, but it just makes life so much easier. Demonstration time. That end drops in. Out with what I'm going to call the old boy stick, BC stick. After several crashes, and one of them from up high, missed toes, missed everything, and just clipped the tripod here, that to me, it's going to make the next three sheets go like bloody clockwork. So I thought you'd enjoy that. I'll see you all later. Well guys, this is one more day into the epic move. I thought I'd give you a bit of a look at the scale of what we've been doing. This is the contents of the office from the warehouse. Moved into the office down here in the shed, and this, of course, is about a third of what we had there, but we're squeezing it all in. Still trying to get the network to operate here. I'm going down to electronics store this morning to get a Wi-Fi extender. You can just barely pick up the signal from the house. It's about 40 metres, and of all things, it's a tin shed. Bugger me, never thought of that. But this took several hours to move all of this in. There's my locomotive frames over the back and the boiler. Give you a little bo peep into the shed. One container now is empty, thanks to help from Steve, but we buggered up the hard standing area with the forklift, so we have to try and remedy that today, or just wait for it to dry out. Take you into the shed, you can have a look there. We're rather squeezed for room here, but I think once we clear one or two pallets up onto the shelves, it'll make it okay for us, and I'll give you a peep in from the other areas. There's the tool kit for the kerns up against the rear wall. That was not too hard to do actually. And here's the top of 5 of the pallets that have been coming in, and all the shite has been packed up to this side. So surprising amount of room in here. You know, a 9x9 shed gives you a lot of space, and Graham taught me how to space it out into 4 rows instead of 2. It's worked out quite well. Okay, move you around, we'll have a look in from the other side. That's a little better. Here we have our big dilemma, and surprisingly it wasn't the drive wheels, it was the steer wheels of the forklift. When they pull a sharp angle, I suppose the smaller diameter makes them get stuck into the road base, and that's pretty heavy. There's about 75 mils of road base being put down over the years and tramped down, but right up to the entrance to the second container has been made rather unusable. We've got a steel plate there, we've had a couple of bogs. We've managed to come in here from the first container, all across here to the edge of the container ramp, and I might have to access that to get the last 2 big machines in. Okay, I'll move the camera, you can see inside the shed. And this is our last bit of filming for the day, most probably, unless we have a eureka moment. I've got 2 of my tool and cutter grinders set up in this corner. I don't know if they'll stay there. I thought it would fit a little bit easier than it has, but just a bit squeezy around the outside of them. Down the back you can see the pallets that are still to be unloaded, and we've got enough room here for probably 8 pallets to come out where the forklift and the rider mower are. And we can squeeze another 2 pallets in between the back of the forklift and the Mazak lathe, and the old shaping machine probably going next to the mill after I moved the mill sideways with the forklift about, I'd say half a metre. So that's what we've been up to. All in all, both Steve and I went away with sore bones after a bloody hard day. More of it later this afternoon tomorrow. Bye for now. Well, back again. Another day into this saga of moving shed. Not too many casualties. Both containers are empty. We moved a lot into here, bit of steel stock over the side there. Part of my workbenches and some racking. There's the shelving material leaning up against the wall, but I think that's pretty buggered. Most of it's old chipboard that's probably 20 years old and it's swelled up and fat in the middle, a bit like me. The fluid tank for the cylindrical grinder and my parts washer behind it. One casualty as the forklift started to get bogged down into the driveway, which I'll show you. It's taken a hell of a pounding. We had to put a couple of my bench tops down. Very, very good marine grade ply. This top one now is absolutely knackered. The one behind I think will serve again, so I'll come out of it with one bench ready to go, but Steve and I were just exhausted at the end of the day. Had to jack the forklift out twice, and you'll see why soon. It's a road base driveway that's had a bit of bitumen emulsion over the top, but underneath it's highly reactive clay and just did not take the weight. So we'll move around and see the damage in the driveway. Okay, here we are again. You can zoom in on that one, and it's not what we expected. The main drive wheels weren't usually the culprit, it's the steer wheels. The temptation is always to turn the steer fairly steep to get manoeuvrability on the forklift, and it just acts like a rotary hoe on the bloody driveway. It tears it to pieces, and you can see what the surface is like. It's just all chewed up. We've raked it out so it's reasonably level, and I'll rake it out again later on today, but yeah, one great big mess. I don't know what the heck I'll do. I would like to put a concrete apron down, but that'd just be too expensive. And one unexpected casualty, which was a real surprise to me. The flashing on the front of the shed took a hit. When the forklift got bogged, it grabbed hold of one piece of ply and just threw it out the front like a bloody cricket ball, and there it is, whack, straight into the flashing. But it's only half a dozen screws and it's off. Now I'll move you in front of the shed and you'll see the nightmare that faces me now. Not a great deal of change from yesterday. We've got the two main TNC grinders stuck in here, and the phase converter down below, although that'll be moved over well onto the truly to the left once the previous owner's gear gets removed. My power saw, in behind it a box that must weigh half a tonne. I said to my son, throw everything that's round in there, so all the Morse tape adapters, anything with a round shaft got thrown in. Just behind that is the Brearley grinder that took a big nosedive. That's going to be a rebuild in another video. Get you in closer for that one. You can just see the yellow motor housings for it. It looks like it only took damage where the motor housing meets the top slide. All of the slides seem to be quite okay, and I think it's the big wheel guard that took the whack, so I'll make sure that's okay and throw the wheel to the shit house. I don't want to get hurt with that. Just in behind, you can see the wheel head and work head for the Rongfu TNC grinder, so I'll be doing annular cutters again. I didn't want to move the big Cincinnati in here, which is just behind it again, but I really had no choice. The driveway was chopped up and I could not get the Cincinnati onto the forklift ramp and then onto the concrete out in the carport. So it'll be in the way, but it's up on a pallet so I can move it around on the pallet jack, and it will probably live to my left where the rider mower is. A couple of big crates in the background there. My little press. And all of these here are movable, so I can get a bit of floor space, and that's the biggest thing. If you can get 3 or 4 square metres, it gives you the ability to start to clean things up and one big carton at a time, or one crate at a time, filling up these shelves over here. And I have a square metre or so of space on those shelves, and eventually I'll finish up with enough room to get things moving around. Before we started yesterday, we picked up the mill on Fatty the forklift and moved it to the right about 1 metre and back about 1/2 metre, and that opened up this front space quite a bit. So yeah, we'll be able to move it around. The big shaper here, that is a heavy bugger. I thought it was a tonne. I'm thinking now about 1.3, but it's up on a pallet, so we can shift it around to where we want and just use the tow jack to let it down gently. Okay guys, I better do some work. I'll finish off the series here. Please like and subscribe, and the next video will be with a much better organised workshop and maybe a bit of grinding operations or swarf coming off machines. Thank you. Bye. Hello everyone, back again. Thought I'd give you a little bit of a look around the shed as we progress with the move. Out of 2 20-foot containers, I've only got 4 pallets that haven't been unloaded so far. I think the job is coming in hand, very, very good. Haven't been working at it flat out because I'm feeling a little bit stuffed from the exercise, but starting to get a little bit closer to the final pattern. Here's a few of the machines, a couple of tool and cutter grinders that I think will finish up living in this part of the shed. My old large power hacksaw. As you can see, the shelves are fairly well stacked, but not in the final configuration. It's a case of 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. But I did come across something by design that worked quite well, so I'll take you further into the aisle. You can have a look from in there. Now, 2 things you really need to have a successful move, and once the forklift's gone, that's not one of them. One is the pallet jack, and the other is my cut down engine crane. I took 900 mils off both legs, which gives a much better access in around the machines. Now, I purposely laid this aisle a little bit wider than the other so we can take 2 pallets wide, and that allows me to bring 1 pallet out and shuffle the crane in to unload the rather large crates at the back. Move the tripod in a bit more. And as my advancing years catch up with me, I'm just not up to lifting heavy things. So I brought the little crane in, and that 4-jaw chuck that's sitting on the end of the hook weighs about 45 kilos, and there was no way known I was going to battle it out of that crate. But that crate is now empty, and I can throw that into the carport next door. And little by little I'll nag at it, but if you think in advance and you double stack the rows like this, you can start to unload a lot of gear onto the shelves, and I'm placing the cartons approximately where they were in the previous shed, so at least I've got a bit of an idea of where things are. I want to get up and running and making a bit of grinding dust or swarf ASAP. A good mate has offered to wire the shed up. I do the legwork and run the cables, and he'll come in and hook it all up for me. But over there's the Kearns borer. In the background is my Mazak lathe. My little radial drill and milling machine and shaper over the back there. So that gives you a bit of an overview of what the shed's like. I think it's going to be quite a good finished effort because of the amount of floor space left here. I could probably put another 6 or 7 pallets in, so it gives you an idea of the space I've got. I don't know whether the shaper will stay where it is. I think it'll probably come in behind the radial drill. Just nudge the rider mower to one side and bring it over. They all move reasonably easily provided you have them on a pretty level floor and the floor is well swept. Okay, that's it. I'll wrap this up and put it up on YouTube for you. Thanks, mate.